Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, we've got a new test server. I'm on it right now. Testy HH. We're into it. Thank you, Raid, for letting us use this. We have got 10 new champions coming in the patch, which is coming this week alongside the Fusion, the Epic Fragment Champion. So let's go through them. Let's see what they're all about. Honestly, when you've got a game with this many champions in it now, 230, what's that, like 400... 600, 700, we're getting close to like 750. The new champions kind of need to have something a little bit different about them. Like, we've got now stacked factions, yeah? So, and they add more champions every single month. So we really need to be seeing something which is a bit different, a bit funky. So we're going to go through the 6 epics first, then I'm going to get onto the legendaries. And I will be playing the test server at 2 p.m. UK time today. The day this video goes out, that's the Thursday. So if you want to see what some of these champions are all about, you can come and catch me on stream. On that same stream, I'm going to be giving away over 5,000 gems, some epic books, and some void shards. So it's worth coming and getting in the mix. And please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. I try and keep you up to date as best I can with all of the news, as well as some cool ways to play this game. Okay, then let's do this. I'm going to start with a Bannerlord, and it is going to be an epic champion. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, yeah. I remember this one. I'm guessing this one is based on someone in the office, right? It's got to be based on someone real, because it's just too ordinary, isn't it? It's Colin. He lives up the road. He likes to come around for a cookie and a cup of tea. Oh, and by the way, every now and again he puts on his armor and he's got a long sword. Like, this guy, I don't know, it just, to me, it doesn't feel like he fits the game. The visual on it is not the usual raid standard, from my opinion. Some people might like it, you know, going a bit more kind of, I guess he is plain and simple. The Bannerlords sometimes are. But anyway, Colin just seems like a funny one to me. So we got, yeah, decent enough base stats. He's an epic champion. Decrease attack A1. 40% chance to land. It's not bad. We've got an AoE hit on the A2. Books to a 3 turn. Books to 100% chance of stealing 1 buff from each enemy. And then puts a heal on for 2 turns on your team. This is actually not a bad skill. Yes, basically stealing rather than removing 1 buff from each enemy. I kind of like that. It's an AoE hit based on his attack plus heals as well. It's not bad. We then got an A3 with a turn meter fill for the whole team and an increased attack. So a bit like a Seeker or more like a Gordrab with the amount of turn meter fill that you get. And it's on a 4 turn. Again, it's okay. Do the Bannerlords need it? Is that why it's in here? Do the Bannerlords need this type of turn meter fill champ? Maybe they do, in fairness. Maybe they do. There's not much going on there on the same sort of lines in terms of turn meter fills for epics. So yeah, maybe it's a filler. It's a bit of a filler champion, but the skills are decent. They're decent enough. You get him early game arena, I think it all works. We've also got here, removes all decreased attack debuffs from all allies at the start of this champion's turn. So again, that's quite nice. You know, there's certain bosses out there where you get decreased attack debuffs on you. It's a bit odd that it's just decreased attack, but again, he's an epic who I don't think is meant to be like top tier. So Colin here got a reasonable set of stats. 15% speed aura. Feels a bit low, I think. All of his stuff just feels a little bit on the low side. But if you pulled him early, it'd be a half-decent champion for you to use. He's not going to be changing the meta in any way. Onto the High Elves then. I mean, they come out with some names sometimes. Sturamis, I'm going to go with. This one looks a bit more like it. Yes. Almost got like a friendly Sauron type of look to it. So Sturamis, I really like the armor design. Very cool. I like the kind of slits with just the kind of light of the eyes. Very cool. So an HP based champion here. Decent stats. 20 odd K health. Okay speed. Okay defense. Looks cool. Is he cool? So we got here. We've got an A1. 80% chance of stealing 15% of the target's turn meter. Books to 90. I just feel like that should book to 100. Should just book to 100. Weird. You don't want something like this. A turn meter steal, you don't want it to be totally random. And I know 90% is not random, but it's random enough to be annoying. Anyway, 30% if book chance to stun, if they fully deplete the turn meter, which is pretty unlikely. Yeah, this kind of like, oh, we're going to take away 15%. Is it going to completely deplete turn meter? Not very often does that happen. That's almost like don't even consider it's there. So HP-based damage. We've got here an AoE. HP-based hitters generally are not strong unless they've got a mechanic where they might hit again. Like a Magnar would hit for an okay amount of damage, but when he hits twice, and that's a mechanic where it's like, will this happen or not? That's when they do a lot of damage. So it's an AoE, decreases the duration of all enemy buffs by a turn. And then books again, 75% chance of placing decreased attack for an epic, so it's not good enough. Fills his champion's turn meter by 10% for each buff that had its duration decrease. So you can get like a 30-40% turn meter boost off the A2. So I guess the idea here is he starts to kind of cycle turns quite quick. This is on a 3-turn. That's quite nice. And then this is the bit I do like about him. So books up to 100% chance of placing a provoke on all enemies, 3-turn cooldown, and he puts counterattack on himself and continuous heal on himself as well. So he becomes a very good mischief tank whilst Head of Decay provoker, or a good one, not very good, but a good one. Certainly the mischief tank is going to put on 2 buffs onto himself, who's going to be directing that kind of impact onto himself, and he's high HP, which means he's going to be quite tanky. So yeah, this is nice. The provoke is good. I like this skill. So if he was built for Hydra, this kind of works. All of this works for Hydra. This works for Hydra as well as a decreased attack and champion turn meter feel, potentially, but depends if you grab buffs off the enemies or not. Depends if they're stealing your buffs. And then a stun will not work, and a turn meter still won't work on Hydra. So I don't know. It feels like he's a little bit all over the place to me. HP aura in all battles is nice. Like, again, a decent epic, but nothing too crazy. This faction is actually a bit light on epics. Okay, the next one up is a Barbarian. Barbarian epic. Where are you? Oh yeah, okay. So this is the fragment champion that's starting, I guess, as you're watching this today. It's like Oscar Rule on the Thursday. It's going live. He's an epic champion. I said it in my first video of this. Like, if this is a fragment collector that is quite easy to pick up, I actually think he's really good. And his base stats are solid. We haven't seen these yet. Very high defense, very high HP, good speed. His base stats are solid. His kit is solid. Stun on the A1, AoE, chance to stun on the A2. This is extremely rare for an epic champion. And a turn meter drop if we don't land the stun. Oh, sorry, if they've already got stun on them. And then we've got a clean all stuns from your team, and then place 2 pretty solid buffs on your team as well. He cannot be stunned. So if you've got those kind of faction war bosses where they stun your whole team, he won't take a stun, and he's going to clean off all the stuns from your friends. People are saying, oh, he could be a stun target for Clan Boss. Nothing else of his kit makes any sense for Clan Boss. I guess with the exception of this buff and increased resistance. Increased resistance does nothing. The buff is okay. Nothing in this kit really says to me, Clan Boss. Yeah. He has got quite an interesting passive though. So immune to stuns is cool. Increases the damage inflicted by all allies by 15% when attacking enemies under stun. I don't know if the same stun in terms of coding counts when a Hydra head is stunned. If it is, and that's, I mean, 15% more damage is a lot. And also, like, a stun champion who allows the rest of your team to do more damage is a bit of a novelty, but actually kind of cool. So, you know, it's like a mid-game player. This is a really good epic. I think it's one of the better epics we've seen in a while, but that doesn't mean that I want to go all in as if it was a legendary that I'm trying to get for a fragment champion. So that the requirements need to come down to make this worthwhile. And he's got a defense in faction crypts, doesn't really raise the bar any higher than it was. So he's decent, but he's not going to be like, he's not getting anywhere near people that are kind of playing the game towards the end. Ogryn Tribes then, next epic up. Who we got here? Who we got? Seas. Seas is the new login champion. So I talked about him earlier today. He looks kind of kind of okay. But when you get, by the time you get him, kind of like you're past it really. You know, he's got an increased attack buff on his A1. Buffs himself, sorry, if he crits on his A1. He's got a 3-hitter on his A2, fills his champion's turn meter by 10% per crit, and gives him a perfect veil. An AoE on all enemies, and places crit damage before he attacks and gets a heal. And then a passive, which is actually, the passive is what I'm most interested in. Steals 15% of the target's turn meter based on the enemy with the highest turn meter at the end of this champion's turn, and it can't be resisted. That's actually a very cool passive. But, I mean, base stats, good speed, not very tanky, reasonable attack. He might hit pretty hard on his AoE. But, yeah, I think he's more going to be like a champion that's half decent if you pull him on a shard. Not necessarily if you know, if you get him after 350 odd days or whatever it is, like 2 years of playing the game. So the other one that's new in here then is Lorne the Cutter. This is the one I was meant to show you. Again, okay base stats, nothing too crazy. Attack-based champion. Triple hit on the A1, heals for 15% of the damage. It's actually quite nice. Especially if you get Warmaster procs as well. It's like an inbuilt leech. AoE A2, placing leech and heal reduction. And then attack one enemy and a 100% chance of doing a full turn meter drop. This skill's okay, but it's on a 4 turn. It's quite long, really, for an epic. This skill's okay for the AoE leech. There's not many places in the game where you'd want an AoE heal reduction. And this is, again, it feels like a bit of a filler. The turn meter drop's actually quite nice for bosses. But, yeah, as I say, a bit of a filler epic in my opinion. Okay, then. Next one up is an Orc. Yeah, this might be my favourite of the epics then. So this guy, firstly, looks beastly. Look at it. He's definitely some sort of Orc war leader, right? Tagore. He has led a few battles. Yeah, he's your battle master. Got a few skulls just kind of put around. Didn't even take the crowns off the skulls before he put them on his armor. Horns coming out of horns. Yeah, this guy is the real deal. Very fast, actually. 105. He's a support unit. 105 speed. Good HP. Not that great defense. Okay attack. Everything in terms of damage is based on attack. We've got a double hitter here. Places increased defense on the ally with the lowest current HP. That's a bit random, but I guess useful. We've got an AoE increased speed on all allies and then a big heal, 15% on a 3-turn. That's actually pretty cool. That's a good ability there. AoE hit, plus increased speed, plus a nice heal. That's quite a nice ability. And then we've got to revive all dead allies. So full team revive, 30% HP, and a shield on all allies for 2 turns equal to 20% of this champion's HP. So actually, that's potentially better than a 50% HP resurrection there on all your team. 5-turn cooldown. It's quite a long cooldown, but you know, in terms of other revivers in the squad, you've got the kind of old faithful shaman here. I think that's it. So perhaps a much needed reviver, but quite a good one. I know you've got Jorg as well, actually. What do you got Jorg? Who does a 2-person revive on the same sort of cooldown. I feel like this guy's just better. Just a better version. And then we've got a passive here as well. Decreases the damage received by allies with low health, less than 50% health by 10%. HP in all battles. Solid, epic. I think it's probably the best one we've seen so far. And then the last of the epics then. We have got Seren. In a shiny purple armor here. Got plenty of weaponry. She's got a Genzin mask. Looking pretty happy. We've got decent speed. Pretty low like defensive stats. Okay attack. So we've got first hit here, or first ability here, the A1. Double hitter. Each hit books up to 50% chance of placing poison. Pretty good A1. The A2 double hitter. Each hit chance to place weaken. 70%. That's almost definitely going on a 3-turn. And then the A3 is an AoE drop defense. So, I mean, this faction is calling out for a drop defense epic. Yeah, most factions have got one now. I think Shadowkin one of the few that don't. And yeah, we need it, but we wanted that to be 100% Plarium, not 80. We've got accuracy in all dungeons, So yeah, last of the epics, a decent one for this faction. But again, nothing to write home about unless she's got like crazy multipliers or something. So let's talk about the legendaries then. We need to see something bigger, something better in the legendaries, really, for this patch to be, worthwhile in terms of a patch. I'm going to come to that one last. It's my favorite. So we're going to go Shadowkin again. Harima. Maybe I should have done this one last, actually. Harima, I think, has got the biggest potential to change metas out of all the champions we're going to talk about today. Harima. Very high base defense, okay speed, okay HP. Looks pretty damn badass, really. Like, you're not messing. You're not messing. She's just about squeezed into her top. Yeah. Badass Harima. So we've got an A1 decrease attack. 50% chance, books to 75. Also 25% chance, books to 50 of placing decrease attack on all enemies if it's a crit. So she's defense based, but yeah, it looks like you have to pump her with crits. It's a bit like the ability that who's the other one in this faction? Someone else does something similar. Aboru. So Aboru does this kind of decreased defense ability on the A1. It's slightly worse than Aboru's, but it is decreased attack. Slightly different. I kind of like it. The A2 then, there's a triple hit. Each hit decreases the target's defense by 5% up to 30. Now, I'm assuming that's going to just carry on. I'm assuming that once you've done it, it stays. Like, if you're decreasing the clan boss's defense by 30%, that will stack on top of a decreased defense debuff. Damn, you've got some defense lost on the clan boss or any enemy, any boss. That's pretty nutty. Each hit also increases this champion's defense by 5% up to 100% more defense. Also pretty nutty. Instantly activates her A3. I'll show you that in a second. If they kill someone with this ability. So if you think about it, if you kill someone, you're going to instantly do this. AoE. AoE provoke. This debuff cannot be blocked or resisted if the target's demon spawn. Okay, so it looks like she's coming in as an anti-demon spawn champion. Think about demon spawn, certainly in the arena, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of pretty relevant demon spawn champions. Kymar, Candy, Duchess, Mortu, Heffrak. There's plenty, actually. There's plenty that play at the highest level. So an anti-demon spawn is pretty damn big, especially if it can't be blocked or resisted. So 1 turn provoke on a 3-turn cooldown, but instantly activates if she kills someone here. Then she's got a passive, which basically, this could be nuts. This could be absolutely game-changing. So enemy ignore defense effects are decreased by 50%. Now, I'm assuming that's just on her, and we won't know that until we see the code or until I get to play with her in the test server and stuff, but I'm assuming that's just on her, because if that's for your whole team, then suddenly, as fast as Baron came into the meta, he's going again. So that's a pretty nutty passive. But there's a lot of champions at the moment that are specifically used because they ignore defense. Yeah, Mortu, Baron, Basilius. Yeah, there's quite a few actually that are coming into the highest end arena because of ignore defense. So Harima could be just unique enough to find some place in endgame arena, I think. Champions from Demon Spawn faction cannot inflict a crit on her. And this champion cannot land a weak hit on someone from the Demon Spawn. It's a very cool kit. I really like it. And she's got increased resistance in all battles. So yeah, I think Harima might end up being pretty special in the arena scene. Dark Elves then. Noct. This is a weird champion. Kind of bug-like, really. Almost feels a bit buggish in my head anyway. But yeah, Dark Elf, definitely very dark. Poisonous type of blades. We've got high HP, HP-based champion, high HP, 22k, good defense and good speed. We've got a decreased accuracy on the A1. We've got an AoE sleep on the A2, 100% if you book it, free turn. So places asleep for 1 turn and 2 poisons. We've then got a passive effect, so places 2 additional poisons, so that's going to be 4 for 2 turns whenever a sleep debuff placed by this skill is removed or disappears or an enemy takes damage. So this could end up being like a massive kind of ramp up of poison debuffs on an enemy. They're waking up with more poison than they had before. So yeah, this could end up being quite a nutty skill. A little bit like Shador, really. Shador does something similar to this, where enemies aren't really getting turns and they're just getting poisoned to death. We then got an A3. Don't know if this fits the kit that well, but ally protection and continuous heals, 3-turn for your team. Ally protection is about as strong as it gets for Clan Boss in terms of a debuff, but this doesn't affect Clan Boss, and this doesn't affect Clan Boss, so it's not really what they were going for. Ally protection outside of Clan Boss is not as strong. It's still like a tanky thing to do, but it's nowhere near as strong. And then we've got this passive. So heals his champion by 3% of their max HP, and all allies by 1% every time a poison goes off. It's like a continuous heal ticking over, which is made by this A2. It can end up being quite a lot of healing, actually. Whenever an ally is attacked under ally protect, 40% chance of sleeping them again. It's a weird kit. I'm sure this will find its way somewhere, but I don't know where. You can't sleep bosses, so bosses are out. There's not a single boss in the game that you could sleep, which means it's basically meant for PvP. And the damage ticks is just not enough to be relevant. If you had it as an annoying arena defense champion, I guess there might be something in that, maybe. But there's not enough damage here to really be relevant, so you end up being just annoying. And annoying works, like in arena defense, annoying works, but yeah, I can't really get my head around where I would play this champion at the moment. Comment below if you've got some good ideas. Comment below. And again, if you've got ideas for the test server, we can do it a bit later on. So last one then. Oh no, 2 more. This one looks sweet. Samson the Masher. This dude, he's got his Warhammer on the back, war paint on. I love the kind of fists. I don't know what is that, like almost like baboon heads or something, as his kind of like metal greaves. This is a cool skin. Raid, you've redeemed yourself for Colin with this one. Brilliant. Absolutely love it. Brilliant Skinwalker skin here. So we've got, again, HP-based champion. Similar base stats to the last one I just said. Vanity Fists. Attacks one enemy 2 times. I cannot wait to see the animation of this one. I just hope he's absolutely like cracking people with those fists. Vanity Fists here. So attacks an enemy 2 times. Each hit books to 45% chance to stun. Not bad. AoE on the A2. It's an HP-based champion. These struggle to hit hard, as I said earlier. So attacks all enemies. Removes all increased defense buffs from enemies before attacking. Places an extra hit if this attack kills someone. So this has got the potential to be a hard hitter, because it's potentially doing 2 hits and it's a conditional second hit. Trouble is, you've got to kill someone with the first hit. So you need the first part of it to do enough damage for the second part to go again. This is an all or nothing. This is either going to be brilliant, stand aside Magnar, we've got a new fella in town, or it's going to be underwhelming. We'll find out today. And then we've got Roar of Victory here. So places increased accuracy on all allies for 3 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. Also, crit damage on this champion for 3 turns and goes again. So he gives himself 30% crit damage before he goes into this move. It's okay. Crit damage is okay. It's not the best of buffs in the world. And then we've got, I guess you can't buff an HP-based champion really with much else. If he got crit rate and crit damage, then maybe we've got a bit more going on, but still, it's not bad. And then his passive here. So decreases the damage this champion receives from crits by 20%. Straight up, 20% damage reduction in the arena. That is significant. Counterattacks the attacker when hit with a crit with this A1, chance to stun. I'm wondering, if he's the leader, does he get his counterattack off before the rest of your team actually take a hit if it's AoE? There's some weird stuff with interaction sometimes with this type of stuff. It might be that he could completely block the rest of the damage on the rest of your team if he counterattacks and stuns. Don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Also, 50% chance of counterattacking the attacker when hit with a strong normal, so when hit with any other type of hit. So it's a definite counterattack if it's a crit, and it's a 50-50 if it's any other hit. Very cool passive. Very cool passive. His kit kind of screams arena to me. Doesn't really kind of say that it's going to be used elsewhere, but again, could be, I guess. Defense in all battles, good base stats. He looks like a pretty fun champion, and he looks badass. So we've got one more. This champion, I'm pretty certain, could be a new world record clan boss champion. Yeah, for those people that get involved in that stuff, I think this guy could be up there as a game changer. Either way, he's going to be nutty in clan boss. So we've got a bit of a beak. Corvus the Corruptor. Sacred Order legendary champion. Defense based. Looks pretty cool. Don't know if he's seeing much. Bird's eye view. Got himself some weapon or some tongs. Maybe he's like a torturer or something. Don't know. Looks like he's gonna be doing some work of some sort there. Anyway, pretty sweet sword. What we got going on here? High HP, very high defense, 1400. He's a defense-based champion, good speed. Decrease attack A1. This is just a good ability for like clan boss if you're in a kind of normal killable clan boss team. Enemies like the Griffin or like the dragon with the ads. What's that dragon called? The Eternal Dragon. Yeah, a decreased attack A1 is always useful in that fight. We've got an AoE A2, double hitter. First hit increases the duration of enemy debuffs. The second hit increases your buffs for return. Yeah, so this is where he could form part of that clan boss world record team because he's doing the extension of buffs. At the same time, he's going to be extending debuffs on the enemy, which we've not got anyone doing really anything that useful for this type of character, this type of hero. He's also bringing decreased attack. Christie is normally in this type of team, so Chris does it himself, but Christie is pretty unreliable, so actually Corvus might be just a more reliable version. And then he's got this A3, 2-hitter. Each hit books to a 100% chance of placing 2 poisons. So 4 poisons going out on a 4-turn, which he then extends with this, because he extends the debuffs. And he also places poison sensitivity as well. So you've got damage, you've got buff extension, and you've got decreased attack. All of that is a great recipe for clan boss. And the AoE poison here actually is just going to be good for any content where you're trying to do, like solo content as well. Things like Solo Dragon, Solo Ice Golem rely on these type of abilities, or Poison Exploder type champions as well. They rely on these type of abilities. So I feel like he's got a ton of use case here. And I haven't even talked about his passive yet. Decreases the damage enemies under poison debuffs inflict. Decreases the damage enemies under poison inflict on you. 5% less per poison. So you could get a 25% damage mitigation if you've got enough poisons ticking over. So again, if you think about that kind of world record clan boss team, if Corpulent Cadaver is taking 25% less damage, then he will last for longer. His shield lasts for longer. He will hit harder. And I think that could be enough to swing the current meta of world record attempts. Got defense in all battles as a lead ability as well. So yeah, Corvus the Corruptor, for me, is probably the most versatile and probably the best champion that they're adding. But I don't know, the epics feel a bit underwhelming to me. The legendaries all feel pretty solid. Let me know what you think. I've been Hell Hades. Come and join me on stream later and come and get involved in the giveaway. I'll catch you later.